Hi guys, and welcome to the sixth episode of Team Talk. Again, I'm joined by Sam,
Hello.
and today, continuing on from the last two podcasts, we're doing another five teams from the Premier League and going through which positions we think they could potentially improve on coming into the summer transfer window, and potentially any players we feel like might fit that void perfectly for the position that we decide that team needs. The first team that we're going to go through uh, is a team that's doing very well at the moment this season. Uh, and I feel like it'll probably finish quite strong as well with the way they've been playing, but that's Leicester City. Um, so they've had quite a good season, but as you know, there's always like a way that teams can improve. So who or what position do you think that Leicester could potentially improve on or look to get in the summer, Sam?
I put three different positions. Um, Jamie Vardy, I think, is one of them. Jamie Vardy, striker, I think, because of Jamie Vardy. Um, Obviously, I know he's getting on a bit now, and obviously he's had his injuries, but Ian is not good enough, and they definitely need to find a replacement and also a different way to be able to play without Jamie Vardy. And I was also thinking left back. I know they've got Christian Fuchs, and I think they said that young player Luke Thomas. But obviously now with James Justin out for a long time, I think definitely a left back just for a replacement.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I mean, obviously the James Justin injury is quite unfortunate, really. I mean, he looked like a top player, or he still is a top player. We don't know how he'll come back after his injury, but he probably was on the list to go to the Euros for England as well. The way he was playing, just because he can play really well in right back and left back. I think I definitely agree with you with the striker thing. At the end of the day, players are playing longer now, but Jamie Vardy is sort of nearly 34, and there's going to come to a point soon where he's not able to play at the level he's playing at anymore, and I feel like it's going to be quite all like a sudden drop off, and Leicester need to be ready for when that moment happens. And obviously, at the moment, they're not with Iheanacho because he just isn't at that required level, I don't think. But I think if they can find someone, like you said, probably in like a similar nature, who can do a similar job. Maybe not at the same level, but that's going to be hard. But I think, like you said, a striker would definitely be one. But I do also think they've really struggled to sort of find someone to play well on the right because I think this
Yeah,
season you can agree, but anyone can agree that Harvey Barnes has sort of really come on. He's such a good player, but they've got sort of under Perez, Albrighton, maybe other. I mean, they had Damari Gray's just gone, all on the right. Who I do think they're all good players, but they can all definitely be improved on. And I think if they can find like a good right-sided winger to come in and sort of complement Barnes and another striker, or even Vardy for next season, then that's just another level they're going to go up, and it might even give them the chance to potentially push for the title next season if they don't lose any of their sort of key players like your Ndidi, Pereira, players like that. I don't know what you
yeah,
sort of.
no, I agree. I think obviously they brought in Castagna, didn't they, for that right side. But I think obviously where unfortunately Pereira had his long-term injury, um, he went back in that like right back sort of position to step in. So it does show he's a bit of a versatile player. But yeah, I agree. Obviously, the fact they need someone on the right side.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing with Leicester. They've had like Justin and Castagna, who, like you said, Castagna was kind of more like a right wing back, right mid before he joined, and James Justin was a right back, and it ended up a lot of time where Justin would be left back and Castagna would be right back, and then sometimes it would change and Justin would be right back and Castagna would be left back. But they've managed to do well and keep it up all season. But I do think those are sort of the positions they can potentially look to work on. Maybe even goalkeeper. Not because I don't. I do think Kasper Schmeichel is a very good player, and I wouldn't look to replace him as he is at the moment. But again, he's I think 35 now, so it's that thing of sooner or later he's going to need a replacement because he's going to start dropping off as well. Although keepers do usually go a little bit longer, so they might be lucky at least for next season anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving
I was just
on.
going to quickly say, sorry, before you move on. I know this will tend to be like a different podcast sort of subject, but Jamie Vardy, obviously saying about replacing him. To me, he's probably got to be one of the best signings in Premier League history. I think for 1 million coming from Fleetwood, for what he's produced in the Premier League, he's got to be up there one of the best ever signings in the Premier League.
I don't think Leicester were in the Prem, were they, when they signed him?
Are they not?
I think they were still in the Championship.
Or even just one of the signings. I think that's one of the most influential signings. I think.
Because I'm pretty sure there's a picture of Vardy and Harry Kane on the bench together at Leicester.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
So it must have been a while ago. But then, like you said, I think he still went from like the conference to the Championship, and then the fact that again he goes into the Prem. I don't even know if he was even like Leicester's main starting striker at that point. I'm not sure, but ever since he's been in the Prem, he's just been amazing, and his level's been top class ever since he's been in form, really. So I think of the last decade, he's definitely been up there with sort of your Aguero, maybe not Aguero, but like just behind Aguero. That's the best striker of the last decade. So I mean, he's going to be really hard to replace. But yeah, so moving on to the next team, which is Spurs, who've had a really weird season because at the start, they started off really badly against Everton, and everyone was a bit worried about them being a complete flop. Then they went on like a 11-game unbeaten streak, and everyone was saying they're going to win the league. I think although it's probably because I'm an Arsenal fan, I was always one of those people who thought there's absolutely no chance they're going to win the league purely because they were massively sort of overplaying on their expected goals. Like they should have been like fourth, and they were first. Like they were getting very lucky, and I think that's why they kind of stopped getting lucky recently, and it kind of leveled out a bit. But I do think that they made some good signings in the summer, and that filled a lot of gaps. However, I do think that although they've made some signings, they could definitely, for a club of sort of Tottenham's supposed level, make a few to sort of improve on what their main starting 11 is. And I think for me, the one position I'd sort of really look at would probably be centre back. I mean, any club that's starting Eric Dyer week in, week out needs to sort of instantly look in the transfer market because he's just, anything, just for anything. They need to do a lot because he's not a good player, really. Like, obviously, yeah, he's probably like bottom Premier League level. He's not great, though. I don't know how he's so highly rated and how he's played so many games for England, but that's not up to me to decide. But and obviously Sanchez has kind of failed to deliver, really. I mean, he signed as like a really high prospect, and I know he's not that old still, but he's never really really put his marker down to sort of start a lot for Tottenham because he always has blips and dips in form. So I definitely think if they could sign a big centre back to go next to Alderweireld and then hopefully wait for Sanchez to sort of mature a little bit, and then he can sort of come in for Alderweireld, and then they might be fine. But that's definitely one position I'd say they need to look at, and potentially the right wing as well. Because I mean, although they've got really good players like Mora, Bergwijn, and obviously Bale as well, none of them have really done anything at all this season, and maybe they need someone else who can sort of support Son and Kane on the goals front.
Just a comment about Sanchez. I think he needs to wake up from after Gundogan put him to sleep, but that's all I'm going to say about that. And I don't know. I don't agree with the right wing. I think it's Mourinho's style of play. I think that's the reason why the players like Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, Gareth Bale, I don't think he's even had a chance. I know everyone's probably saying he's been on a few games, but if you've got a player of that calibre, you need to start him and you need to let him be fluent and let him do what he wants. Like, let him play how he used to play at Spurs, because he can he can. He has got the talent to rip teams apart, and obviously with the fact that, and everyone said it, Kane, Son, and Bale as your front three, that's probably got to be one of the. If it put together and it actually worked, it could be as deadly as Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. If you think about it, maybe not as deadly, but it's probably, if you look at the names, it's probably as scary. But I was thinking definitely centre back. They need to improve on that. If you think the last few seasons where they've done well, they had Vertonghen and Alderweireld in form, and they're two very experienced centre backs. But I think they definitely need another centre back and also another goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean all those. I think they've got a lot of players who are like good, but they don't have very good backups. Like for example,
Yeah.
if like Højbjerg was to get injured, you'd be like, well, they're absolutely fucked. Like, there's no one who can play the position anywhere near as good as him. They've got Dele
he's been
Alli
unreal.
on the bench or not even in the squad, and you just think like it makes no sense because I personally think he's quite a good player and better than most of the players they've got, but he doesn't get a look in, and I just think they're a bit kind of all over the place with, like you said, although maybe it is Mourinho's style, but Bale obviously can't play the defensive role, so that's probably why he doesn't play a lot on the right. And then you've got like Mora and Bergwijn who can play it, but I feel like at some point you need those two to still do a bit more going forward. I know, like, yeah, you could say it's worked with Kane and Son, but I do think they've actually flattered to deceive in the sense of as a club, not them two, because obviously Kane and Son have been amazing. But if they'd just been good or at a normal level with top player, then Spurs could easily be in the bottom half of the table. So I do think they need to sort of maybe improve on the manager, but they need to do something about some of the other players in the team and need to get their levels up.
Yeah, I think Mourinho's doing the same sort of thing as what he done at United. After a few, I think first season at Spurs was all right. This season, obviously, he had a good start, but you can just see his start of play is exactly the same as what it was at United. It's just he has a certain two players at the top, and then the rest of it is just sit back and put eight. Yeah, sit back, put all the men behind the ball. They always do say that Mourinho's favourite win is a 2-0 win, so he gets two quick goals and then defends it. That's Mourinho's favourite score.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I mean, it does work sometimes, but I just think it's getting a bit outdated now, and unfortunately, he doesn't seem to have a ability to change his tactics.
I think that the philosophies and different tactics and the different styles of football that the managers are bringing into the Premier League at the moment, it's quite difficult to sit your men back because these teams have so many different ways of attacking and breaking down teams. And if you've got, and these players like the Cams are so like technically good now, it's not always going to work putting people and allowing the pressure at the back because people are going to find them holes and they are going to punish you.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think they'll be fine as it is at the moment, but I don't know. You never really know if either Son or Kane goes, and they can't really do. They might, and then again, Kane could just get injured again, and they'd be completely ruined. So it's
I
quite
think Kane needs to
scary.
leave.
Yeah, I think if I was
Personally.
Kane, I'd be absolutely determined to go this summer because they never seem like they're that interested in really going for it. But at the same time, he keeps doing so well that they never drop off enough that they have to go for it.
It's just going to be mad that one of the most prolific goal scoring strikers, or one of the best strikers in the Premier League in this sort of decade, is potentially going to have no trophies if he stays at Spurs.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever win the league, but you never. He'll probably pick up a trophy like an FA Cup
They could
maybe or something.
potentially, they could potentially win the Carabao Cup against City, but can anyone see? I can't see City losing to anyone at the minute.
No,
But you never know. A final, everything all form goes out the window on a cup final. So it's anyone's game.
Yeah, and all you need is one moment, and that can change the whole game.
Exactly.
But that is enough Spurs talk because I've had enough of it. We don't want to talk about that shit club anymore. And the next team on the list we have is Leeds, who are quite a fun team to watch as a neutral. I mean, when we played them the other day, we won 4-2, so 6 goals. Obviously, we won, so I enjoyed it. But they've been pretty good, and I think they've made quite a few good signings as well in the summer. I think looking at their team, maybe if we just look at the starting 11 for now, I think there's potentially a few positions they can work on. I mean, they've been quite unlucky in centre back because they've made 2 signings and Koch and Llorente have both been injured for quite a lot of the season, so that's quite unfortunate. I think maybe what where they can potentially improve on the most would be probably. I don't think he's a bad player, but it'd probably be either right back or left back because I don't think the players they've got there are bad, but I just think the players they've got sort of elsewhere are too good to say them instead. Maybe the keeper. I mean, he's quite young, so it's a bit harsh, but I think like Bamford has been great this season. Rafinha looks like an amazing player. Jack Harrison's a great player. Sort of Calvin Phillips and like Rodrigo in the middle. Um, I think maybe potentially another central midfielder. But then Clicks looked quite good as well. So I think for me, I'd probably look at either left back or right back. Because I think Aylin's a good, okay player, but I wouldn't say he's like an amazing player. And obviously, I think Stuart Dallas is alright as well. But at the same time, he's a right-footed sort of central midfielder who's playing left back. So I think they could definitely get better there as well. And maybe that could be another position that propels them even further up the table. I don't know if you had any different thoughts on that, or whether you think it's sort of similar.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think for a team that's come up and they have done well, so they're still obviously they're championship players and they have done really, really well this season. And like I said, obviously they have been blessed. Obviously, I've been fortunate with the injuries that they've had. But for a team that scored 40 goals and then also concedes 42 goals this season, it's very consistent that they can go one week and they can thrash a team 5-0, and then they can go next week and then lose 4 or 5-0. It's just you don't know what team you're going to be getting with Leeds. So I think maybe centre back. Really, I think they need to improve that defensive area, like you said, left back, right back, and also centre back. The goalkeeper is very young, and I think he does pull some really good saves. I think potentially he needs to be more aware when he's got the ball at his feet. He needs to get rid of it more, a bit quicker as well, distribute it more accurately as well. He does seem to be a few balls just go straight off the pitch, especially what he saw against Arsenal. He was lucky to get away with a few chances there, and obviously one of them led to a penalty as well. So he does need to be a bit more aware of his surroundings when he's got the ball at his feet. But I definitely think centre back and a right or left back.
Yeah, I guess the defence has been poor this season, so I guess you could say that that'd be fair enough to say. I think next season, in terms of centre back, they won't need one because Koch is like a German international. Llorente is a Spanish international, so I think once they're both fit, along with sort of Liam Cooper, you won't need any other centre backs. But who knows what they're going to do? Because I think Bielsa quite fancies Ayling and Stuart Dallas, so I don't know who they're going to end up signing. Um, the next team on the list is Brighton. One of the teams near the bottom. I don't think they've had a great season, but they've played a lot better than the position that they're actually in at the moment. I think with them, I ultimately can't look past the forward line because they create so many chances, but they don't score many goals. So that always suggests that there's strikers who can't shoot. I don't necessarily think that Maupay is a bad player, but I just feel like they could really do with like a forward who could potentially score some of these chances that they're creating, as opposed to the constant poor finishing they've been dealing with all season. I don't know. I don't know necessarily because the formation they play changes quite a lot, but just any sort of forward who's got a bit more of a goal scoring record would be great for them, and someone who can stay injury free as well. I don't know if you've got any sort of other thoughts because um, I'm sure there's probably other positions they could maybe improve on. But I think apart from centre back, where they've got a lot of talent, is there
Yeah, definitely.
any other position that Brighton have got maybe that you think they should be able to or they should improve on in the summer?
I was definitely going to say the centre backs have got a really good depth for their centre backs. Midfield, I see if once Lallana, if he keeps fit, you got him and Basuma. They're quite two good players. Yeah, I think they do need someone who's more clinical up top. Mope he'll score you about 10 goals, but nowadays you need a goal scorer that's going to score you 15 to 20 goals to keep you up the season. But yeah, I agree. I think with the play that the style of play they're playing at the moment, if they were to get them goals, I think they could be definitely up there in mid-table in maybe the top 10. I think they're very comfortable on the ball. They do have a lot of possession as well, and the amount of chances they create, it's just like you said, they're not clinical at all enough to put away the chances that they have.
Yeah, I think like their manager's quite unfortunate because he's created a system where they create a lot of chances, and at the end of the day, that's how you win games. But the way to win games as well is you have to actually score those chances, and that's what they're not doing. So I think
Oh yeah,
if I was them, I'd definitely be looking at upgrading the forwards because ultimately, if they were performing on their just at least around the XG they should be on, then they'd probably be about 10th, 9th or 10th, maybe even higher. I don't know. So, um, yeah, I think I said in the relegation video they should have been about 16 points better off or something stupid like that. So, I think if they can stay up, then that's what they'll have to work on next season. And then, sort of finally, looking at one of the teams who I think's really struggled this season, and probably won't be, or actually, I don't think definitely won't be in the Prem next season, but that's West Brom. If they were, say, to stay up and sort of carry on in the Prem, one, I think there's a lot of positions they definitely could work on. I think they've got a lot of Championship level players, except for in goal, basically. I think they could work on any position, to be honest. But I think the way they're playing just kind of makes you just think nothing's gonna work because they're just playing way too defensively. Um, but I feel like they've got sort of like Dean Garner, Pereira, who potentially in a better system could sort of thrive. But I think maybe I don't even know because there's so many positions. I guess probably a striker because the guy they signed recently, I think he scored the other day against United. But um, end of the day, like you said just a second ago for Brighton, you need a player who's going to get you sort of 10 goals plus, and they just didn't have that at all this season, and that's why they're at the bottom.
yeah, no, I agree. I think on a bit of paper, I think I put the whole squad apart from goalkeeper to improve. Um, so they've got some Maitland Knowles on loan. Um, Ajayi, he's quite a good centre, not little, massive, but he's a good centre back. They have got some good players. I think that Gallagher's quite a good centre mid for them.
He's on
Jake
loan from
Livermore's part,
Chelsea though.
yeah, exactly. So it's another lone player. Jake Livermore, he's not good enough anymore. Um, yeah, Pereira, he was quality in the Championship last season. They got they get fans player of the season, I think, for West
I
Brom.
think so.
Dean Garner, good talent, but I just don't think, yeah, like you said, it's just the style of football that they play. I don't think he matches it at all. So yeah, I think West Brom's sort of a hard one to pick because there's so many areas that they could improve on.
Yeah.
But I do definitely think attacking wise, and they're doing to improve someone. Like Charlie Austin, they've just put out on loan because he's not good enough. So I definitely think they can improve in the area.
Yeah, I guess for them potentially getting a few of the people they've got on loan back again for next season in the Championship might be quite a good way forward. But then it's that worry again of the, when you get players on loan in the Championship, then you've got like it's basically what happened to West Brom last season. They had Dean Garner and Pereira on loan. they get promoted, then they have to sign those players, and then suddenly their transfer budget's gone because they've spent it on players they already had before, so they haven't really improved. So it's a bit of like a mixed bag, really. You kind of need to get the right balance, but they're definitely going down, so won't really have to worry too much about them. There's a Premier League issue for at least next season. But anyway, that's the end of this video. So we spoke about Leicester, Spurs, Leeds, and Brighton, and I think we've sort of done well to suggest the players or positions anyway that we think those teams could improve on. So thank you for listening, and please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.